Welcome. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Before we begin, if this resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe to LifeStage Manifestation for more transformative sleep content. Now, let's begin this sacred journey together. Find a comfortable position, somewhere you can remain undisturbed for the next 2 hours. Let your body settle into the surface beneath you, feeling the support holding you completely. Tonight is special because tonight, you're doing something incredibly brave. You're choosing to release something that's been weighing on you, perhaps for years. The version of yourself you thought you'd become by now. The life you imagined living. The person you were so certain you'd be. I want you to know right from the start that it's okay to feel loss for the life you imagined. It's okay to grieve for the version of you that never materialized. That grief is valid, it's real, and it deserves to be acknowledged. You're not being dramatic, you're not being ungrateful for what you do have, and you're certainly not failing. What you're experiencing is one of the most profound human experiences, the gap between expectation and reality, between who we thought we'd be and who we actually are. This is one of the hardest but most freeing journeys you'll ever take. Letting go of who you thought you'd be makes room for who you actually are. And who you actually are, right here, right now, with all the detours and plot twists and unexpected turns, is someone beautiful. Someone resilient. Someone worthy of deep peace. You're not failing by being here tonight. You're evolving. You're waking up. You're choosing reality over fantasy, and that takes tremendous courage. So many people spend their entire lives comparing their actual existence to an imaginary ideal, never finding peace. But you, tonight, you're choosing differently. You're choosing freedom. As we begin, let's start releasing tension from your physical body. Notice your face, all the tiny muscles around your eyes, your forehead, your jaw. We hold so much tension in our faces, especially in the jaw where we clench against disappointment. Let your jaw go slack, teeth slightly apart, tongue resting gently. Feel your face softening, smoothing, like you're becoming younger, returning to a state before all these expectations took hold. Let this softening move into your neck, that beautiful bridge between your head and heart. Your neck carries the weight of thoughts, and tonight we're setting those thoughts down. Feel your neck lengthening, releasing, the muscles loosening like rope unwinding. You don't have to hold your head up so rigidly anymore. You can soften. You can let go. Tonight is about coming home to yourself. The real self. Not the projected self, not the hope for self, not the self you promised others you'd become. Just you. Actual, present, imperfect, perfect you. And I promise you, by the time you wake tomorrow morning, something will have shifted. The grip of old expectations will have loosened. The weight of who you thought you'd be will have lifted. You'll feel lighter, freer, more yourself than you've felt in years. So settle in now. This is your time. These 2 hours belong to you and the beautiful work of releasing what no longer serves you, if it ever did. You're safe here. You're held here. And you're about to experience one of the most compassionate gifts you can give yourself, permission to let go. Let's talk about what you're carrying. There's a version of you that was supposed to exist by now. You've been carrying this image around like a photograph in your pocket, pulling it out to compare against your actual reflection. This other you, this imagined you, had certain things figured out. They had reached certain milestones, achieved certain markers, become a certain person. Maybe that version of you had the career you were so sure you'd have. The title on the business card, the office, the salary, the respect you imagined. Maybe they had the relationship, the partnership, the family structure you always assumed would materialize by this age. Maybe they had the body you thought you'd maintain or achieve, the health, the energy, the vitality you were certain would be yours. Perhaps that version of you lived in a different place, a home you dreamed of owning, a city you were convinced you'd move to, a lifestyle you thought was inevitable. Maybe they had the financial security you assumed would come naturally, the savings account, the investments, the freedom from worry. Maybe they had the friend group, the social life, the connections you imagined building. This imagined version of you was built from so many sources. Your younger self made promises about who you'd become, declarations made with the confidence of someone who didn't yet know how complicated life gets. Your parents had expectations, spoken and unspoken, dreams they placed on your shoulders before you were old enough to know you could set them down. Society handed you a script, a timeline, a checklist of what adulthood should look like by certain ages. The media showed you images, endless images of people who seemed to have it all together, who made it look effortless, who appeared to follow the plan perfectly. Your peers, or at least the edited versions of your peers you saw on social media, seemed to be hitting markers you were missing. Getting engaged, buying homes, landing promotions, having children, traveling, glowing with the confidence of people whose lives matched their expectations. And somewhere along the way, you internalized all of this. You built an identity around a future that changed direction. You made plans that life had different ideas about. You set your internal GPS to a destination that turned out to be a mirage. And now here you are, living a life that doesn't match the map, and you've been treating this as failure when really, it's just reality being more creative than your imagination ever was. The weight of these expectations is exhausting. It's like walking around with a backpack full of stones, each stone a should have, a supposed to, a by now I thought. You wake up and feel the weight. You look at your life and instead of seeing what is, you see what isn't. Instead of appreciating your actual journey, you compare it to an imaginary one. Instead of celebrating who you've become, you mourn who you haven't become. This isn't giving up. Let me be so clear about this. What we're doing tonight isn't about giving up on dreams or settling for less or resigning yourself to disappointment. This is about something far more powerful. This is about waking up to reality. This is about releasing fantasies so you can fully inhabit your actual life. This is about letting go of a rigid blueprint so you can appreciate the organic, beautiful, unexpected structure that's actually been built. Your shoulders are carrying so much of this weight. Feel them now, notice how they've been creeping up toward your ears, tensing against the pressure of unmet expectations. Let them drop now, heavily, completely. Let gravity pull them down and away from your neck. Feel the space this creates, the relief. Your shoulders don't need to carry the weight of who you thought you'd be anymore. And your chest, your beautiful heart space, has been constricted by this pressure too. There's been a tightness there, hasn't there? A feeling of not quite measuring up, of falling short, of disappointing some invisible audience. Feel your chest now, and with your next breath in, imagine space opening up. With your breath out, feel the tightness releasing, dissolving, like ice melting in warm water. Let your arms rest heavily wherever they're resting, on your sides, on your stomach, on the surface beneath you. Your arms have been reaching for things that weren't meant for you, striving for markers that weren't your authentic desires. Let them rest now. Let them be still. There's nothing to reach for in this moment. There's nothing to grasp or achieve or prove. You've been living with this gap between expectation and reality for so long now. The gap has become familiar, almost comfortable in its discomfort. You know how to feel disappointed in yourself. You know how to enumerate all the ways you're not where you should be. You know how to carry shame about your timeline, your choices, your circumstances. But tonight, we're setting all of that down. Tonight, we're bridging that gap not by finally becoming who you thought you'd be, but by releasing the thought entirely. Before we can truly let go, we need to grieve. This is essential. You can't bypass grief and arrive at acceptance. You have to move through it, feel it, honor it. So right now, I'm giving you full permission to mourn the life unlived. The version of you that exists only in imagination deserves acknowledgement before they dissolve. It's okay to feel sad about this. It's okay to feel disappointed that your life doesn't look like you thought it would. It's okay to feel anger at circumstances that shifted, opportunities that closed, timing that didn't work out. It's okay to feel confused about how you got here when you were so certain you'd be there. All of these feelings are valid. All of them deserve space. None of them make you ungrateful or weak or foolish. That version of you that never materialized, they were beautiful. The dreams you had, they were lovely. The life you imagined, it made sense with what you knew then, with the information you had, with the person you were. There was nothing wrong with wanting those things, hoping for those things, planning for those things. The dreams weren't the problem. The problem is that life unfolded differently, and you've been punishing yourself for not bending reality to match imagination. Here's something important: grief and hope can coexist. You can mourn what didn't happen while simultaneously being open to what's actually happening. You can feel sad about the closed doors while being curious about the open ones. You can honor the path not taken while walking the path you're actually on. These aren't contradictions. They're the full complexity of being human. Letting go doesn't mean it didn't matter. This is crucial to understand. When you release who you thought you'd be, you're not saying those dreams were meaningless or that version of you was worthless. You're simply acknowledging that they served their purpose for a time, and now they're blocking your view of who you actually are. It's like holding on to childhood drawings. They were beautiful and meaningful when you made them, but at some point you need wall space for new art. You're allowed to feel disappointed and still move forward. You're allowed to acknowledge that things didn't go as planned and still find meaning in how they went. You're allowed to say "I wish it had been different" while also saying "I accept that it's not." These permissions might feel contradictory, but they're actually the path through. Resistance keeps you stuck. Acceptance sets you free. This is sacred work you're doing tonight. You're not just trying to feel better or think more positively. You're fundamentally shifting your relationship with your own life. You're choosing to stop living in comparison to an imaginary existence and start fully inhabiting your actual existence. You're choosing presence over fantasy. You're choosing reality over the exhausting maintenance of disappointment. Let's complete the body relaxation now. Feel your stomach, your belly, the place where you hold so much emotional tension. We talk about gut feelings, and your gut has been twisted up with the disappointment of unmet expectations. Place your attention on your stomach now and imagine it softening, unclenching, releasing. Like a fist slowly opening, your stomach lets go of the tight grip it's been holding. Move your attention down to your legs, from your hips through your thighs, your knees, your calves. Your legs have been carrying you forward while you've been looking backward, moving into your future while grieving your past. Feel how tired they are. Feel how much they've been working against the resistance of your disappointment. Let them go heavy now, sinking into whatever surface holds them. They can rest. You can rest. Your feet, all the way down to your toes, have been walking a path they didn't plan to walk. They've carried you through unexpected terrain, and they've done it well, even when you haven't acknowledged it. Feel your feet now, and thank them silently. Thank them for keeping going even when the map didn't match the territory. Let them relax completely, every muscle, every tendon. Now feel your whole body as one unified field of sensation. Heavy, relaxed, supported, held. Your entire body is releasing the physical tension of mental disappointment. With each breath, you're exhaling the tightness of unmet expectations. Your body is forgiving you for all the ways you've judged it, compared it, wished it was different. Your body is releasing who you thought you'd be and settling into who you actually are. This grief you're feeling, or allowing yourself to feel, is a doorway. On the other side of this grief is freedom. On the other side of this mourning is presence. On the other side of this release is a life that feels like yours instead of a life that feels like failure. You're doing hard work right now, the hardest work. But you're strong enough for it. You've already survived everything that didn't go according to plan. You can survive releasing the plan entirely. Take a deep breath in now, filling your lungs completely. And exhale slowly, releasing not just air but resistance, not just carbon dioxide but comparison, not just breath but the weight of who you thought you'd be. Again, breathe in acceptance. Breathe out expectation. Breathe in presence. Breathe out fantasy. Breathe in your actual life. Breathe out the imaginary one. You're ready now. Ready to understand where these expectations came from. Ready to see why the plan changed. Ready to truly, finally, let go. Your body is relaxed, your defenses are down, and your heart is open enough to do this transformative work. So let's continue, gently and safely, into deeper understanding. Let's go back to the beginning, back to when these expectations first took root in your consciousness. Because here's the thing, most of the dreams you've been carrying, most of the ideas about who you should be by now, they didn't originate with you. They were planted there. Inherited. Absorbed. Downloaded into your system before you had the discernment to question whether they were actually yours. Think about your younger self, maybe you at 15 or 20. That version of you looked at the world with a specific lens, through the filter of limited experience. They saw adults around them and made assumptions about what adulthood meant. They saw people with careers and assumed that's what success looked like. They saw relationships and decided that's what happiness required. They saw material markers and concluded that's what security demanded. Your younger self was doing the best they could with the information available. They were trying to navigate toward a good life, trying to set coordinates for a meaningful future. But they were working with incomplete data, with cultural programming, with messages they'd absorbed without realizing they were absorbing them. And so they created a blueprint based not on authentic desire but on collective mythology about what a good life should contain. Your parents, whether intentionally or unconsciously, handed you expectations. Maybe they said things outright, "I hope you'll become a doctor," or "I expect you'll give me grandchildren," or "You need to buy a house by 30. Or maybe it was subtler, the disappointment in their eyes when you mentioned certain dreams, the pride in their voice when you pursued certain paths. Their hopes and fears became your internalized should statements. And it's not that they meant harm. Most parents are simply passing down the map they were given, the formula they believe leads to safety and happiness. But the map was outdated when they got it, and it's even more outdated now. The world has changed. The economy has changed. The possibilities have changed. The timelines have changed. But the expectations, they persist like ghosts, haunting your present with visions of a past generation's idea of success. Society gave you a script, a detailed timeline of what should happen when. Graduate by 22 or 23. Start a career immediately. Advance steadily through your 20s. Get married by late 20s or early 30s. Buy a house. Have children before 35. Reach executive levels by 40. Retire comfortably at 65. This script plays in the background of your mind, even if you consciously reject it, because it's been repeated so many times in so many ways that it feels like truth instead of construction. Cultural narratives about timelines are especially powerful. You've been told your whole life that there are appropriate ages for things, that there's a right time and a wrong time, that deviating from the schedule means falling behind. Your 20s for building, your 30s for arriving, your 40s for establishing, your 50s for coasting. As if life follows a production schedule, as if human development can be standardized, as if everyone's journey should look identical. The media amplified these messages until they became deafening. Movies showed you what life should look like. Television portrayed families and careers and romances in specific ways. Magazines told you what you should have, be, look like, earn, achieve by various ages. Social media turned comparison into a constant stream, an endless scroll of everyone else's highlight reels, making your behind the scenes look insufficient. And then there were your peers, the people you grew up with, went to school with, started careers alongside. You watched them, probably more than you realized, using their milestones as measuring sticks for your own progress. When they got engaged, you wondered why you weren't. When they bought houses, you felt pressure to do the same. When they advanced in careers or started families or took luxurious vacations, some part of you registered it as evidence that you were falling behind. But here's what you didn't see. You didn't see their struggles, their doubts, their compromises, their moments of wondering if they were on the right path. You saw the announcement, not the anguish. You saw the achievement, not the cost. You saw the appearance of having it together, not the reality of also figuring it out as they go. Everyone is making it up. Everyone is improvising. Everyone's life is messier than it appears. Comparison, this constant measuring of yourself against others, against timelines, against cultural expectations, it's been stealing your joy for years now. Every moment you spend in comparison is a moment you're not actually living your life. Every time you judge your chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 20, you miss the actual story unfolding on your own pages. Every time you measure your timeline against a cultural construct, you deny the validity of your actual pace. These expectations, all of them, they came from outside you. Even the ones that feel deeply personal, even the ones you thought were purely your own, they were shaped by messages you received before you knew you were receiving them. You thought you wanted certain things, but did you want them? Or did you want to be the kind of person who wants them? You thought you'd be somewhere by now, but did that destination come from your authentic self, or from an internalized script about what success should look like? The career you thought you'd have, where did that idea originate? Was it from genuine passion, or from messages about prestige, about security, about what smart people or ambitious people or good people do? The relationship timeline you expected, where did that come from? Was it from authentic desire for partnership in that specific form at that specific time, or from cultural narratives about when and how love should happen? The financial markers you thought you'd reach, where did those numbers come from? Did you sit down and calculate what you personally needed to feel secure, or did you absorb society's messaging about what wealth looks like, what success costs, what you should have accumulated by certain ages? The lifestyle you imagined, whose lifestyle was it really? Yours, or a composite of media images and peer comparisons and advertisements selling you a vision of the good life? This isn't about blame. Not blaming yourself for absorbing these messages, and not blaming the sources for transmitting them. This is about awareness. Understanding where expectations came from helps you release them. When you can see that most of what you're carrying isn't authentically yours, it becomes easier to set it down. When you can recognize borrowed dreams, you can return them to their original owners. When you can identify inherited expectations, you can choose which to keep and which to release. You are not your parents' unlived lives. You are not society's timeline. You are not your younger self's limited imagination of what was possible. You are not the sum of everyone else's expectations. You are something much more interesting, complex, and authentic than all of that. You are someone who has been shaped by unexpected circumstances, by choices both deliberate and forced, by grace and struggle and all the beautiful messiness of an actual human life. And that person, the real you, the one who exists beneath all these borrowed expectations, they've been waiting patiently for you to notice them. They've been here all along, living your actual life while you compared it to an imaginary one. They've been growing and adapting and becoming while you mourn not becoming someone else. And tonight, finally, you're ready to meet them. Life is organic, not linear. This is one of the most important truths you'll ever integrate. Life doesn't follow blueprints. It doesn't respect careful plans. It doesn't care about your timeline or your expectations or your certainty about how things should unfold. Life is messy, creative, surprising, and far more intelligent than your younger self's imagination could have predicted. The plan changed because plans always change. The question was never if, but when and how. Some changes were dramatic, sudden doors slamming shut, unexpected crises, pandemics, economic shifts, losses you couldn't have predicted. Other changes were subtle, gradual realizations that what you thought you wanted didn't actually resonate when you got closer to it, slow divergences from the path you'd mapped. Doors closed for reasons you couldn't see at the time. That job you didn't get, the one you were so sure would launch your career, it closed not because you weren't good enough but because you would have been miserable there, or because it would have taken you further from your authentic path, or because the timing wasn't actually right despite your certainty that it was. The rejection felt like failure, but it was actually protection. That relationship that ended, the one you thought was your forever person, it ended not because you weren't lovable or because love isn't real but because it wasn't the right match for who you were becoming. The heartbreak felt like catastrophe, but it was actually course correction. You couldn't see it then because you were too close, too attached to the idea of who you'd be with that person. But from here, with some distance, can you see that the ending made space for growth you needed? The career path that dead-ended, the financial setback, the health crisis, the family obligation that changed everything, the global event that shifted everyone's reality, these weren't failures. They were information. They were plot twists in a story that's more interesting than the one you'd outlined. They were life saying not that way, try this instead, trust me even though you can't see where this leads. You've been treating detours like mistakes when actually, they were redirections. Every time life took you off the expected path, it was guiding you towards something you couldn't have planned for because you didn't yet know it existed. Every time circumstances forced you to pivot, you developed flexibility you never would have cultivated if everything had gone according to plan. Every time you had to adapt, you became more resilient, more creative, more real. Your resilience, can we acknowledge it? You've adapted to every single thing that didn't go as planned. Every closed door, every changed circumstance, every disappointment, you survived it. You adjusted. You figured it out. You kept going even when keeping going meant abandoning the map and navigating by feel. You've been so focused on what you didn't become that you haven't acknowledged what you did become. Someone who can handle uncertainty, someone who can pivot, someone who's stronger than the person who never faced obstacles. The failures, and I'm using that word because I know you use it about yourself, they weren't verdicts. They were information. Each thing that didn't work out told you something about yourself, about your values, about what you actually want versus what you thought you should want. Each closed door revealed which doors you genuinely cared about versus which ones you were pursuing out of obligation or expectation. Maybe you applied for that dream job and didn't get it, and that failure eventually led you to a career path you never considered but actually enjoy more. Maybe you didn't get into that prestigious school, and that failure led you to a different environment where you actually thrived. Maybe you didn't achieve the body you wanted, and that failure eventually led you to a healthier relationship with yourself than you would have had if your worth was tied to appearance. Some things weren't meant for you, and that's okay. This might be the hardest truth to accept. Not everything you want is meant to be yours. Not every door you knock on is supposed to open. Not every dream you have is aligned with your highest good. And your highest good, it's wiser than your conscious plans. It's more far-seeing than your limited human perspective. It's guiding you towards something you can't yet see. The life you thought you'd be living, maybe it would have been good. Maybe it would have been fine. But maybe fine isn't what you're here for. Maybe you're here for something more authentic than fine, even if authentic is harder, even if authentic is messier, even if authentic doesn't photograph as well for social media. Maybe the life you're actually living is preparing you for something your younger self couldn't have imagined. Look at what you've survived so far. Genuinely, take inventory. Every disappointment, every setback, every plot twist, you're still here. You made it through 100% of your worst days. You adapted to 100% of the changes life threw at you. You survived 100% of the moments when you were certain you wouldn't. Your track record for getting through difficult things is perfect. And in the surviving, in the adapting, in the figuring it out as you go, you became someone. Maybe not the someone you planned to be, but someone real. Someone with depth. Someone with stories. Someone with wisdom earned through actual experience rather than imagined through fantasy. Someone with compassion for others who struggle because you've struggled. Someone with authenticity because life stripped away the option of performing perfection. The plan changed because you changed. You're not the same person who made that original plan. You've grown, evolved, learned things about yourself that you couldn't have known at 20. Your values have shifted. Your priorities have clarified. Your understanding of what matters has deepened. Of course, the destination changed when you changed. It would be bizarre if it didn't. So the question isn't why did the plan change, because of course it changed. Plans always change. The question is, can you forgive life for unfolding differently than you expected? Can you forgive yourself for not controlling what was never controllable? Can you release the fantasy that if you just tried harder, been smarter, made better choices, you could have forced reality to match your blueprint? Let's talk about what holding on is costing you. Because the real tragedy isn't that you didn't become who you thought you'd be. The real tragedy is that clinging to that fantasy is preventing you from appreciating who you actually are. The energy you spend mourning the imaginary life is energy stolen from living the actual one. Every day you wake up and measure yourself against a version of you that doesn't exist. You start the day in deficit. Before you've even gotten out of bed, you've decided you're behind, you're lacking, you're failing. Your first thought isn't gratitude for another day or curiosity about what it might hold. Your first thought is comparison to who you should be, where you should be, what you should have by now. This constant comparison, it's exhausting. It's like running a race where the finish line keeps moving, where you never get to celebrate any progress because there's always more you should have accomplished. You achieve something and instead of satisfaction, you feel relief that you're slightly less behind than you were. Or worse, you achieve something and it doesn't count because it's not what you planned to achieve. The shame you carry for not being further along, it's blocking your growth. Shame is paralyzing. It keeps you stuck in the past, reliving decisions you wish you'd made differently, ruminating on paths you didn't take. Shame tells you that you're fundamentally flawed for not becoming who you thought you'd be, when the truth is you're beautifully human for evolving beyond old imaginings. There's a mental loop you run, maybe so often you don't even notice it anymore. I should have. If only I'd. By now I should. It plays in the background like a constant radio station of disappointment. This loop uses up so much mental energy, energy you could be directing toward actually building the life you want from here, toward appreciating the life you have, toward being present for the people who love the current version of you. This loop also blocks new possibilities from entering. When your mind is filled with should-haves, There's no space for what-ifs in a positive sense. When you're constantly looking backward at where you were supposed to be, you can't look around at where you actually are and see the opportunities right here. When you're gripping so tightly to the old plan, your hands aren't open to receive anything new. You can't become who you're meant to be while gripping who you thought you'd be. This is physics. This is truth. You can't move forward while facing backward. You can't build something new while trying to resurrect something that was never real in the first place. The version of you that you thought you'd be, they're blocking your view of who you're actually becoming. And who you're actually becoming, they're magnificent. They have qualities you never planned for but desperately needed. They have resilience, adaptability, depth, authenticity, compassion, humility, wisdom. They're interesting because they've lived an interesting life full of unexpected turns. They're real because life made performing perfection impossible. They're growing because they had to learn how to grow in rocky soil instead of the fertile ground they expected. But you can't see this magnificence while you're focused on the absence of the imaginary perfection. You can't appreciate the person you've become while you're mourning the person you didn't become. You can't celebrate your actual strengths while you're fixated on the strengths you don't have. You can't love yourself as you are while you're in love with who you should be. This isn't failure. Let me say this again because you need to hear it, absorb it, believe it. This is not failure. You have not failed at life because your life doesn't match your teenage imagination of what it would be. You have not failed because circumstances changed. You have not failed because you're human and life is complex and nothing goes according to plan. This is transformation. This is evolution. This is the messy, beautiful process of becoming real. Failure would be refusing to adapt. Failure would be rigidly pursuing a path that no longer serves you just because you once declared it was your path. Failure would be achieving the fantasy life but losing your authentic self in the process. Failure would be getting everything you thought you wanted and realizing you're empty because it wasn't actually aligned with your truth. The cost of clinging is your present moment. Every moment spent in mental comparison to who you should be is a moment you're not actually here, not actually experiencing this day, this conversation, this breath. Presence is impossible when you're split between reality and fantasy. Joy is impossible when you're measuring every experience against how it should have been. The cost of clinging is your relationships. The people in your life right now, they're relating to the real you, but you're half present because part of you is with the imaginary you, the one who would have better relationships, the one who would be more successful, the one who would be more worthy. Your loved ones are loving you as you are, and you're rejecting that love because you think it should be going to someone else, some better version. The cost of clinging is your future. You're so busy looking at where you should have been that you're not making conscious choices about where you're going. You're paralyzed between the past plan and an unknown future, stuck in the gap. The next chapter of your life is waiting to be written, but you're still trying to edit previous chapters into something they never were. What if you put all that energy, all that mental bandwidth, all that emotional capacity that's currently devoted to comparison and disappointment, what if you redirected it? What if you used it to build something from where you actually are? What if you used it to appreciate what you actually have? What if you used it to become curious about who you're actually becoming? The truth is, you've been spending more energy maintaining disappointment than it would take to build contentment. You've been investing more in the fantasy of the other life than in the reality of this one. You've been feeding comparison and starving gratitude. And it's not your fault, you didn't know you were doing this, but now you're becoming aware. And awareness is the first step toward change. Tonight, we're going to redirect that energy. Tonight, we're going to release the grip and open the hands. Tonight, we're going to turn toward reality with full presence instead of partial regret. Tonight, you're going to stop betraying your actual self in favor of an imaginary one. And I promise you, the relief will be immediate. The freedom will be profound. The peace will be unlike anything you've felt in years. Before we release, we honor. This is crucial. You cannot skip the honoring. You cannot bypass the acknowledgement. The version of you that you thought you'd become, they deserve recognition before they dissolve. Those dreams, they deserve gratitude before they're released. That timeline, it deserves respect for the hope it represented. So let's take a moment to thank that imagined version of you. Close your eyes if they're not already closed, and picture them for a moment. The you that you thought you'd be by now. See them in your mind's eye. What are they wearing? Where are they standing? What's their life like? Don't judge this vision, just see it clearly. Thank you to the version of me who had those dreams. You were hopeful, so beautifully hopeful. You looked at the future and saw possibility everywhere. You believed in plans and timelines and the power of intention. You thought that if you worked hard enough, made the right choices, followed the right steps, you could create exactly the life you wanted. Your optimism was innocent and lovely. You were ambitious. You wanted things, you reached for things, you declared who you'd become with such certainty. There was something powerful in that certainty, something that propelled me forward even when I couldn't see the path clearly. Your ambition gave me direction when I was young and lost. Your big dreams made me believe I was capable of big things. Your dreams made sense with what you knew then. You didn't have the information you have now. You didn't know what you'd learn through experience. You didn't know how life would unfold, what challenges would come, what opportunities would appear, how you'd change. You were working with the best understanding you had at the time, and your plan was reasonable given that understanding. That timeline you created, it was beautiful in theory. By 25 you'd have this, by 30 you'd have that, by 40 you'd be here. It was structured and clear, and it gave you something to work toward. The timeline motivated you, gave you benchmarks, made the future feel manageable. There was comfort in having a map, even if the map turned out to be of a different territory than the one you actually traveled. Those goals, they motivated you for a season. They got you out of bed, they pushed you to try, they gave you purpose when purpose was hard to find. Even if they weren't ultimately your authentic goals, even if they were borrowed or inherited, they served you. They gave you something to aim for, and in aiming, you grew. In striving, even toward the wrong targets, you developed strength. But seasons change, and so do you. The person who made those plans, they weren't wrong to make them. But the person you are now, you have different information. You've lived more life. You've encountered realities that your younger self never imagined. You've discovered truths about yourself, about the world, about what actually matters that your younger self couldn't have known. I honor who I thought I'd be. I really do. That version of me was trying their best to navigate toward a good life. They wanted happiness, security, love, purpose, success, however they defined it. They were doing what they thought was right. They were following the best guidance they had. They weren't foolish or naive, well, maybe a little naive, but in the beautiful way that hope is naive. And now I release them with love. Not with anger or resentment or shame. Not with judgment or ridicule. With love. With gratitude for what they gave me. With appreciation for the dreams that inspired me even if they didn't manifest. With tenderness for the hope that kept me going even when it was hope for the wrong things. I release them gently, the way you'd release a butterfly, opening your hands and letting them fly away. I forgive myself for not becoming them. This is essential. I forgive myself for not achieving every goal I set. I forgive myself for not following the timeline. I forgive myself for making choices that diverted me from the plan. I forgive myself for being human, for being affected by circumstances, for changing in ways I didn't predict. I forgive myself for disappointing my younger self. They had such clear vision of who I'd become, and I'm not that person. I'm sorry if that feels like betrayal to them, but I'm not sorry for who I actually became. I'm not sorry for adapting. I'm not sorry for surviving. I'm not sorry for choosing reality over fantasy, even when fantasy was more comfortable. I forgive life for unfolding differently than I expected. Life didn't betray me. Life isn't punishing me. Life didn't single me out for difficulty while blessing everyone else with ease. Life just happened, the way life happens, with randomness and chaos and beauty and pain all mixed together. Life gave me a different story than the one I outlined, but not a worse story. Just a different one. A real one. I'm grateful for the journey, even the painful parts. Especially the painful parts, actually, because they taught me things that smooth sailing never would have. The disappointments made me compassionate. The failures made me humble. The unexpected turns made me flexible. The losses made me appreciate what I have. The struggle made me strong. Every closed door taught me something. Every rejection refined my understanding of what I actually want versus what I thought I should want. Every setback revealed my resilience. Every moment of not getting what I wanted showed me that I can survive not getting what I want, and that's a profound discovery. The detours, they weren't mistakes. They were the actual path. I was so focused on getting back to the main road that I didn't notice the detour was taking me somewhere I needed to go. The scenic route taught me more than the highway ever would have. The long way around revealed vistas I would have missed on the direct path. Thank you to every version of myself that got me here. The one who made the original plan. The one who tried to follow it. The one who struggled when it fell apart. The one who pivoted when pivoting was necessary. The one who kept going when giving up seemed easier. Every version of me has been doing their best with what they had in that moment. And now, with deep respect and genuine love, I'm ready to fully release the version who never materialized. They've been hovering in my mind like a ghost, haunting my present with visions of what should be. But ghosts need to be released. Spirits need to be set free. And this spirit, this imaginary version of me, they need to dissolve so I can fully inhabit my actual life. So I say goodbye. Goodbye to the career I thought I'd have. Goodbye to the relationship status I expected. Goodbye to the financial position I assumed would be mine. Goodbye to the body, the home, the lifestyle, the achievements, the timeline. Goodbye to all of it. Not with bitterness but with gratitude for the hope they represented. Goodbye. Now we're going to do the actual release. This is a visualization, but it's more than that. This is a ritual. This is a ceremony. What we do in the next few minutes will shift something fundamental in your subconscious. So bring your full attention here. Stay with me. Let this be real for you. Imagine the ideal you, the one you thought you'd become, standing before you now. Really see them. Build the picture clearly. What do they look like? What are they wearing? How do they carry themselves? Where are they standing? Create this vision in vivid detail. The better you can see them, the more powerful this release will be. Notice their job, or maybe the fact that they don't need a job because they're so successful. Notice their confidence, their comfort in their own skin, their ease with life. Notice their accomplishments visible around them, the markers of success. Notice their relationships, the partner maybe, the family, the friend group, the social circle. Notice everything about this idealized version. Notice how you feel looking at them. There's probably longing, isn't there? Maybe some envy of yourself for not being them. Maybe admiration mixed with aching. Maybe love and resentment tangled together. Maybe hope that you still might become them mixed with fear that you never will. Just notice all the feelings without judgment. Now, in your visualization, speak to them. You can do this out loud in a whisper or silently in your mind, but say something to this version of you. Say thank you. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for giving me something to aim for. Thank you for representing hope when I needed it. Thank you for being a vision of possibility. And then say this, and really mean it, you are not who I'm becoming. You've been a beautiful fantasy, a lovely dream, a comforting image of how things might have been. But you are not who I am becoming, and that's okay. I release you from the burden of being my destination. I release myself from the burden of trying to become you. Watch their reaction in your visualization. See them smile. Not a sad smile or a disappointed smile, but a smile of understanding, of relief even. They've been waiting for you to release them too. They've been tired of being an impossible standard, of being the yardstick you beat yourself with. They smile because they understand. They nod because they know this is right. Now watch them begin to fade. Not violently, not with pain, but gently, peacefully, like mist dissolving in morning sun. Their edges start to blur. Their form starts to lighten. They're becoming transparent, see-through, more air than solid. They're dissolving back into possibility, back into potential, back into the realm of things that might have been. As they fade, notice what you feel in your body. There might be sadness, that's okay. There might be relief, that's okay too. There might be both at once, sadness and relief dancing together. Feel the weight shifting in your chest, like something heavy is lifting off your heart. Feel the tightness in your shoulders releasing as you stop trying to carry an impossible image. With each breath out, more of the expectation dissolves. Breathe in acceptance of what is. Breathe out attachment to what should be. Breathe in presence. Breathe out fantasy. Breathe in your actual life. Breathe out the imaginary one. Watch the ideal version fade with each exhale until they're completely gone, just empty space where they used to stand. The timeline that's been tyrannizing you, see it now. Maybe it's a literal timeline on a wall, or a calendar, or a map with markers of where you should be by now. See all the points you were supposed to reach by certain ages. All the milestones unmarked. All the goals unmet. All the deadlines passed. See the whole structure of expectation laid out visually. And now watch it loosen. The rigid structure starts to soften. The concrete dates start to blur. The firm deadlines start to fade. The whole timeline becomes flexible, fluid, optional. It's not carved in stone anymore. It's written in sand, and the tide is coming in, and the waves are washing the words away. By 30 I'll have, by 40 I'll be, gone. Washed away. The should-haves that have been following you like a cloud, dark and oppressive, see them now. Each should-have is a separate dark shape floating around you. I should have graduated earlier. I should have chosen a different career. I should have bought a house. I should have gotten married. I should have had children. I should have saved more. I should have achieved more. See each one clearly. And now watch them float away. One by one, each should have lifts off and drifts away from you like a balloon released into the sky. Watch them go. They're getting smaller as they rise, less significant, less powerful. Soon they're just dots in the distance. Soon they're gone completely. And you're still here, breathing freely, no longer carrying that weight. Your body is becoming lighter. Can you feel it? The pressure that's been on your chest for so long, it's lifting. The heaviness in your shoulders, it's releasing. The tension in your jaw, your neck, your back, it's dissolving. Your whole body is responding to this release. Cells are relaxing. Muscles are softening. Your entire physical system is saying yes, finally, relief. Feel the space that's opening up where the pressure used to live. There's room in your chest now, room to breathe fully, room for your heart to beat without the weight of disappointment pressing on it. There's space in your mind, mental bandwidth freed up from the constant comparison. There's energy available now that was being drained by resistance to reality. Freedom is entering where pressure used to live. Can you feel it? It's light, spacious, open. It's the feeling of setting down something you've been carrying for miles and not realizing how heavy it was until you put it down. It's the feeling of taking off shoes that were too tight and feeling your feet expand. It's the feeling of permission to just be instead of constantly striving to become. You're free. Right now, in this moment, you are free from who you thought you'd be. The fantasy has dissolved. The timeline has loosened. The expectations have floated away. And what remains is you. Actual you. Present you. Real you. Imperfect, evolving, alive, here now you. And that you, this you, is enough. More than enough. Perfect in your imperfection. Now let's get specific. Let's name and release the particular expectations that have been weighing on you. For each area of life, we'll acknowledge what you thought would be, and then consciously, deliberately release it. Speak these words with me in your mind, or whisper them into your pillow, or just let them wash over you as I say them. I release the career I thought I'd have by now. The job title, the corner office, the salary, the respect, the achievement, the status. I release the climb I thought I'd have completed. I release the professional identity I was certain would be mine. My career path has taken different turns, slower progress, sideways moves, backward steps. And I release the judgment of that journey. My work is valid even if it's not what I planned. My contribution matters even if it doesn't match the fantasy. I release the relationship timeline I expected. I release the age I thought I'd be married by. I release the partner I imagined having. I release the specific type of relationship structure I assumed my life would include. Whether I'm single and thought I'd be partnered, or partnered differently than I imagined, or in a relationship that doesn't match the script, I release the script. Love doesn't follow timelines. Connection doesn't obey expectations. My relationship status right now is exactly what it is, and that's okay. I release the family structure I thought I'd have. The children I thought I'd have by now, or the timing I expected. The nuclear family vision that felt so certain. The role I thought I'd be playing as parent, as partner, as family member. My family reality is different than my family fantasy, and both can be valid. I release the grief of the difference and embrace the truth of what is. I release the financial position I thought I'd reach. The net worth, the savings account, the investments, the financial security that felt like it should be automatic by this age. I release the shame of having less than I planned. I release the comparison to peers who seem to have more. Money has been harder to accumulate than I thought, And that's reality, not failure. My worth isn't determined by my net worth. I release the body I thought I'd maintain or achieve. The weight, the fitness level, the appearance, the health markers I assumed would be mine with enough discipline. My body has changed in ways I didn't predict or want. My body has aged, or been affected by illness, or responded differently to my efforts than I expected. I release the image of the perfect body and accept the actual body that's carried me through everything. I release the life milestones I thought defined adulthood. Homeownership by a certain age. Marriage by a certain age. Children by a certain age. Career establishment by a certain age. All the markers that felt so important, so mandatory, so much like proof that I was doing life right. I release the timeline of life markers. I release the belief that there's only one right way to become an adult. I release the comparison to others' milestone collections. I release the social status I thought I'd project. The image I'd present to the world. The impressive life that looks good on paper or social media. The envy I thought I'd inspire in others. The respect I thought my achievements would command. I release the need to prove anything to anyone. I release the performance of having it together. I release the exhausting maintenance of appearances. I release the person I thought I'd become through discipline and willpower. The version of me that would wake at 5, meditate daily, exercise consistently, eat perfectly, be endlessly productive, maximize every moment. The optimized self, the upgraded self, the self who has conquered all weaknesses and transcended all limitations. I release that superhuman fantasy and accept my actual human reality. I release the location and lifestyle I thought I'd be living. The city I was certain I'd move to. The neighborhood I thought I'd afford. The aesthetic lifestyle, whether that was jet-setting or homesteading or urban sophistication or whatever image felt like mine. I release the Pinterest perfect life vision. I release the Instagram-worthy existence. I release the curated fantasy and accept the messy reality. I release the education I thought I'd complete. The degrees, the certifications, the credentials I assumed I'd collect. Whether I didn't finish what I started, or didn't start what I planned, or completed different education than I intended, I release the judgment. My learning path is valid even if it's not credentialed. My intelligence isn't defined by degrees. I release the friendships and social circle I imagined having. The tight group of lifelong friends. The busy social calendar. The community I thought would coalesce around me naturally. Friendships have been harder to maintain than I expected. People drifted. I drifted. Life got busy. connection got complicated. And I release the story that this means something is wrong with me. I release the creative achievements I thought I'd accomplish. The book I'd write, the art I'd make, the music I'd create, the business I'd build, whatever creative dreams felt so sure when I was younger. I release the disappointment of not manifesting these visions. Whether I tried and struggled or never quite started, I release the self-judgment. Creativity doesn't die just because it didn't produce the outcomes I imagined. I release the health and vitality I assumed would be mine. The energy, the absence of chronic issues, the body that just works without complaint. Health has been more complicated than I planned. Pain or fatigue or illness or limitation entered the picture. And I release the fantasy of the effortlessly healthy body and accept the reality of the body I'm actually living in. I release the confidence and self-assurance I thought I'd have developed by now. I thought by this age I'd have it figured out. I thought by this age I'd feel secure, certain, unshakable in my sense of self. Instead, I still feel uncertain sometimes, still doubt myself, still struggle with imposter syndrome. And I release the expectation that growth has a finish line. I release the belief that there's an age where you suddenly feel completely confident. I release the adventures I thought I'd have had by now. The travel, the experiences, the stories I'd collect, the worldliness I'd acquire. Life circumstances limited adventure more than I expected. Money or time or obligations or health or global events restricted the exploring I planned to do. And I release the idea that I'm behind on life experiences. Adventure isn't a checklist. Experience can't be ranked. I release the impact I thought I'd have made by now. The difference I'd make in the world, the lives I'd touch, the legacy I'd be building. Whether through career or creativity or family or community, I thought I'd matter more visibly by now. And I released the measuring of my impact. I released the need for visible proof that my life matters. I trust that my presence has rippled outward in ways I can't see or measure. For every specific expectation I've named, and for all the ones I haven't named but carry anyway, I release them now. All of it. Every should be, every thought I'd be, every by now I'd have. All of it released. Dissolved. Gone. I am free from the specific details of the fantasy life. I am present in the specific details of the actual life. And I choose the actual over the imaginary, the real over the perfect, the truth over the story. Beneath all those expectations, beneath all those borrowed dreams and inherited timelines and cultural scripts, someone real has been waiting. Not waiting passively but actively living, growing, becoming, even while you weren't paying attention because you were so focused on who you weren't becoming. This real you, they've been here all along. And now, with the fantasy dissolved, you can finally see them clearly. Who are you without anyone else's agenda? Without your parents' hopes, without society's timeline, without your younger self's limited imagination, without culture's definition of success, without comparison to peers, without any of it, who are you? This might be one of the most important questions you'll ever sit with. Not who should you be, but who are you? Your actual preferences, not inherited ones. What do you genuinely enjoy? Not what you think you should enjoy, not what would make you the right kind of person if you enjoyed it, but what actually lights you up. What makes time disappear? What makes you feel most yourself? These authentic preferences have been whispering to you for years, but you might have ignored them because they didn't match the image of who you should be. Maybe you thought you should want a high-powered career, but what actually energizes you is quiet, steady work that doesn't consume your whole life. Maybe you thought you should want to travel constantly, but what actually makes you happiest is being rooted in one place with deep community connections. Maybe you thought you should want a big house, but what actually feels good is simplicity and less stuff to maintain. What genuinely lights you up, not what should. There's a difference, a profound difference, between obligatory passion and authentic passion. You might have been pursuing things you thought you should be passionate about while ignoring what you're actually drawn to. Permission now to honor the actual over the supposed to. Your real interests are valid even if they're not impressive. Your genuine desires matter even if they're not ambitious. The life you're living, the actual day-to-day reality of your existence right now, has shaped someone. Not the someone you plan to be shaped into, but someone nonetheless. And that someone, they're beautiful in ways the fantasy version never would have been. The fantasy version would have been smooth, untested, probably a bit shallow if we're honest. The real you has depth. The scars made you compassionate. Every wound, every difficulty, every time life hurt you, you became more capable of understanding others' pain. You can sit with someone in their struggle because you've struggled. You can hold space for confusion because you've been confused. You can validate grief because you've grieved. Your capacity for empathy is a direct result of your capacity for pain. The detours made you flexible. Every time plans fell apart and you had to pivot, you developed adaptability. You learned that you can survive your plans failing. You discovered that you can make new plans. You found out that you're more resilient than you knew. If everything had gone according to plan, you'd be rigid, unable to handle uncertainty. Instead, you're someone who can dance with change. The pivots made you wiser. Every turn you had to make, every adjustment to unexpected circumstances, taught you something. You learned about yourself, what you can handle, what you can't, what matters, what doesn't. You learned about life, that it's unpredictable, that control is largely an illusion, that the only certainty is change. This wisdom, it's more valuable than any achievement you planned. You are not less than. You are different than. And different than is not just okay, it's perfect. You are not a failed version of the ideal. You are a successful version of the real. You are not falling short of who you should be. You are fully inhabiting who you are. And who you are is someone who has survived, adapted, grown, learned, deepened, and continued showing up for life even when life didn't show up the way you expected. This version of you, the actual one, is more authentic than the fantasy ever was. The fantasy was constructed from external inputs, from borrowed ideas about what a good life looks like. But this version, the one shaped by actual experience, is genuinely yours. Your struggles are yours. Your adaptations are yours. Your growth is yours. Your wisdom is yours. Your resilience is yours. You have qualities you never planned for but desperately needed. You never put become really good at handling disappointment on your vision board, but that skill has served you well. You never wrote develop deep empathy for others' struggles in your 5-year plan, but that capacity enriches your relationships. You never listed learn humility through failure as a goal, but that humility has made you more human, more real, more likable. The fantasy version would have been impressive but possibly insufferable. Success without struggle often creates people who lack compassion for those still struggling. Achievement without setback often creates people who think it's just a matter of trying harder. A life that goes according to plan often creates people who judge those whose lives didn't. You've been saved from that. Who you actually are is someone with stories to tell. Real stories, not highlight reels. Stories of falling down and getting back up. Stories of plans failing and finding new plans. Stories of disappointment and surviving it. Stories of unexpected joy in unexpected places. Stories that might help someone else feel less alone in their own unexpected journey. Who you actually are is someone still growing. The fantasy version was static, frozen at the point of having arrived. But you're dynamic, evolving, still becoming. You're not finished. You're not done growing. You're not permanently defined by where you are right now. You're in process, and there's something beautiful about being in process, about being unfinished, about still having room to surprise yourself. The real you, beneath the expectations, is worthy of love. Not conditional love based on achievement, not someday love when you finally get it together, not love that has to be earned through becoming the right version of yourself. Present tense, right now, as you are love. The people who truly love you, they love this version. They love the real you, not the fantasy you. Their love is based on who you actually are, and that love is real in a way that love for a fantasy could never be. You are enough. These 3 words that everyone says but no one quite believes, they're true for you right now. Not you're enough when you achieve more. Not you're enough if you think positively enough. Just you're enough. Period. Full stop. End of sentence. This you, the one experiencing this moment, breathing this breath, living this imperfect life, is enough. This is where you are. Not where you should be, not where you wish you were, not where others are, but where you actually are. And where you are is valid. Your current chapter has inherent worth simply because it's the chapter you're actually living. It doesn't need to justify itself by matching previous expectations. It doesn't need to apologize for not being further along. It just is, and its isness is enough. Your current life is not a waiting room for the real life. This is the real life. This, right now, happening as we speak, this is it. This is not the practice round before the game starts. This is not the rough draft before the final version. This is the actual thing. The life happening while you were busy waiting for the life you thought you'd be living, it's the only life there is. Every moment spent rejecting now is a moment lost. Every minute you invest in wishing your current circumstances were different is a minute you're not actually present for your current circumstances. Every ounce of energy you put into resisting reality is energy unavailable for working with reality. The resistance doesn't change what is. It just makes what is harder to bear. You are enough, right here, at this stage. Not at the next stage, not when you've improved more, not when you've caught up to where you should be. Right here, at this exact point in your journey, you are enough. Your value doesn't increase with achievement. Your worthiness isn't tied to your timeline. You are inherently enough, and your current chapter is proof of that, not a counter-argument to it. Progress isn't linear, and that's okay. You've probably heard this before, but have you really absorbed it? Progress doesn't look like a straight line steadily climbing upward. It looks like a tangled mess of forward and backward and sideways and spiral and stuck and sudden leap and slow crawl. It looks like chaos with a directional bias. And your progress, messy as it is still progress. Your pace is your pace. Not your friend's pace, not your sibling's pace, not society's expected pace, yours. Some people sprint certain stretches that you're walking. Some people are walking stretches you're sprinting. Some people started earlier, some later. Some had smoother terrain, some rougher. None of this makes your pace wrong. Your pace is yours, and it's the only pace available to you. Comparison is the thief of peace, joy, contentment, presence. Comparison steals all of it. Every time you measure your chapter 3 against someone else's chapter 15, you rob yourself of the ability to appreciate chapter 3. Every time you rank your journey against others' journeys, you miss the unique value of your own path. Comparison steals all of it. Every time you measure your chapter 3 against someone else's chapter 15, you rob yourself of the ability to appreciate chapter 3. Every time you rank your journey against others' journeys, you miss the unique value of your own path. Comparison is a game with no winners, only people who lose their peace. What if this chapter is exactly what you need? Not what you want, maybe, but what you need. What if the slowness is teaching you patience? What if the limitation is teaching you to work with what you have? What if the disappointment is teaching you that you can survive disappointment? What if the unexpected is teaching you to trust the unfolding? What if every frustrating element of your current chapter is actually a curriculum? What if there's perfection in the imperfection? Not perfection like flawless, but perfection like exactly what needs to be happening is happening. What if your struggles are perfectly calibrated to your growth? What if your challenges are perfectly designed to develop the qualities you'll need later? What if the messiness is perfectly preparing you for something you can't yet see? This chapter, with all its imperfections and disappointments and deviations from the plan, it's yours. It's not what you ordered, but it's what arrived, and there's something to be discovered in what actually arrived rather than constantly mourning what didn't. There's richness in this chapter that you can only access if you stop comparing it to other chapters, imaginary or real. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. This is important to understand. Accepting where you are doesn't mean you're giving up on growth or change or improvement. It means you're starting from truth instead of fantasy. You can only build from where you actually are, not from where you wish you were. Acceptance is the foundation for authentic forward movement. Resigning yourself would sound like "I guess this is all I get, might as well stop trying." But accepting sounds like "this is where I am right now, and from here I can move forward authentically." See the difference? Resignation is passive and bitter. Acceptance is active and empowered. Acceptance says "I see reality clearly, and now I can work with it instead of against it." Your current circumstances might be temporary. You might be in a season of difficulty that won't last forever. You might be in a transition phase. You might be at the beginning of something that will unfold into something else. But even if this is temporary, it's real now. Even if things will change, this is what is right now. And right now deserves presence, not just tolerance while you wait for later. Or your current circumstances might be more permanent, might be the actual shape of your life rather than a phase. And if that's true, then acceptance becomes even more essential. You can't spend the rest of your life waiting for your circumstances to match your expectations. You have to find peace in what is, not in what might be someday. The someday that matches your plan might never come, and your peace can't be contingent on it. This is your one precious life. Not the life you thought you'd have, but the life you actually have. This is it. These are your days. This is your reality. And you can spend these days, this reality, in resistance and comparison and disappointment. Or you can spend them in acceptance and presence and curiosity about what's actually here. The choice is yours, but only one choice leads to peace. What if you stopped fighting reality? Just for a moment, imagine what it would feel like to completely stop fighting what is. Stop arguing with the fact of your circumstances. Stop resenting the way things unfolded. Stop resisting the current chapter. Just stop fighting. Feel that. The exhaustion of fighting is so pervasive you might not even notice it anymore, but imagine setting it down. Imagine the relief. You'd have so much more energy if you weren't spending it on resistance. All that mental and emotional bandwidth currently devoted to this shouldn't be this way. Imagine redirecting it. Imagine using it to appreciate what is, to build from where you are, to create from your actual resources instead of your imagined ones. The energy is there, it's just been tied up in fighting. This exact moment, right now, will never come again. This specific configuration of you, in this specific place, at this specific point in your journey, is unique. It will pass. Everything passes. And you can either be present for it or you can miss it because you're busy wishing it were different. The choice, always, is presence or resistance. Choose presence. Choose this moment. Choose this version of yourself. Choose this chapter, with all its imperfections, as worthy of your full attention. Choose to stop betraying your actual life in favor of an imaginary one. Choose to live the life you have instead of mourning the life you don't have. Choose reality. Choose truth. Choose now. You're still growing. This is important to understand. Just because you're releasing who you thought you'd be doesn't mean you're done becoming. You're still evolving, still developing, still moving forward. You're just doing it from truth now instead of from fantasy. You're growing toward who you're actually meant to be instead of who you thought you should be. The growth is just happening in unexpected directions. You thought you'd be developing certain skills, certain qualities, certain achievements. And instead you're developing different ones. Instead of professional prestige, maybe you're developing genuine expertise in something that doesn't come with titles. Instead of social status, maybe you're developing authentic connections. Instead of checking boxes, maybe you're developing depth. Who you're becoming is shaped by truth, not fantasy. Fantasy you would have been built on hypotheticals, on a curated journey, on circumstances that didn't include all the variables real life includes. But actual you is being built by reality, by truth, by actual experience with actual challenges and actual choices. And truth-shaped is always more solid than fantasy-shaped. You're developing qualities you never planned for but needed. Resilience, you've mentioned this before, but really sit with it. You are resilient in ways you never would have been if everything had gone smoothly. You can handle difficulty now. You can cope with disappointment. You can survive plans falling apart. These weren't on your vision board, but they're more valuable than most things that were. Adaptability, another quality you've been forced to develop. You can pivot now. You can adjust to changed circumstances. You can release plans that aren't working and form new ones. You can live with uncertainty. You can tolerate not knowing. You can function without the comfort of a clear map. This flexibility, it's a superpower you never knew you needed. Depth, you have depth now that the fantasy version never would have had. You've been to emotional places that smooth sailing never would have taken you to. You've felt things, learned things, understood things that comfort never teaches. You're interesting because you've lived an interesting life, full of unexpected turns. You're real because superficial became impossible. Compassion, your heart has expanded through your struggles. You can hold space for others' pain because you've been in pain. You can validate others' struggles because you've struggled. You don't judge people for not having it together because you know how hard it is to have it together. Your empathy is a direct gift from your difficulties. Humility, life has humbled you, and that's actually beautiful. You know you're not in complete control. You know that trying hard doesn't always equal success. You know that good people encounter bad circumstances. You know that you don't have all the answers. This humility makes you more human, more approachable, more real than the confident fantasy version ever would have been. Authenticity, you're becoming more yourself because performing perfection became impossible. When you couldn't maintain the image of having it all together, you were forced to be real. When you couldn't hide the struggles, you had to be honest. And in that honesty, in that realness, You found a version of yourself that's more genuine than any curated version could be. The best version of you doesn't match the old blueprint. The best version of you is being shaped right now by reality, by actual experience, by genuine growth in unexpected directions. The best version of you has qualities the younger you didn't even know to value. The best version of you is emerging from truth, not from fantasy. You're being sculpted by reality, and reality makes masterpieces. Not the clean, predictable masterpieces of paint by numbers, but the complex, surprising masterpieces of actual art. Your life is becoming art, not because it follows a template, but because it doesn't. The unexpected turns, the struggles, the moments of not knowing, they're all part of the sculpture. Your future is open, undefined, and full of possibility. This might feel scary, but it's actually liberating. You don't know who you'll become because you're not following a script anymore. You don't know where you'll end up because you're not locked into a predetermined destination. You're free to discover, to explore, to become surprised by your own unfolding. Not knowing who you'll become is freedom, not failure. The anxiety of not having it mapped out is just unfamiliarity with freedom. You've been living with the false comfort of a plan for so long that genuine openness feels disorienting. But openness is where magic happens. Openness is where the unexpected gifts arrive. Openness is where you become someone you never could have planned to be. You trust the unfolding now. Or you're learning to trust it. You're starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, your life knows what it's doing even when you don't. You're starting to consider that the intelligence that unfolds spring from winter, that turns seeds into trees, that orchestrates the complexity of your body's systems, maybe that intelligence is also unfolding your life. You follow curiosity now, not compulsion. You're interested in what genuinely draws you instead of what you think should draw you. You're following authentic interest instead of obligatory passion. You're letting yourself be pulled toward things rather than pushing yourself toward things. And in that following, in that allowing, you're becoming someone who's truly yourself. You build a life that fits who you are, not who you should be. You're starting to make choices based on your actual preferences, your actual values, your actual desires rather than inherited ones. You're creating a life that works for your actual temperament, your actual circumstances, your actual priorities. And that life, custom built for the real you, will fit better than the fantasy life ever could have. The person you're becoming is someone you haven't met yet. There are qualities germinating in you right now that haven't fully emerged. There are capacities developing that haven't been tested yet. There are aspects of yourself that are still underground, still in the dark, still preparing to surface. You're in the process of becoming someone you can't fully imagine yet. And that someone, the you that's emerging from reality rather than fantasy, they're going to surprise you. They're going to have strengths you didn't predict. They're going to find joy in unexpected places. They're going to care about things the younger you didn't value. They're going to be wiser, deeper, more real than the fantasy version ever could have been. You're becoming your true self. Not the self you constructed to please others. Not the self you imagined to meet expectations. Not the self you thought you should be. Your true self. The one that's been waiting beneath all the layers of should and ought and supposed to. The one that's been here all along, patiently waiting for you to stop performing and start being. The best is unfolding, not behind you. Your best days are not in the past, not the days when you still had hope that the plan would work out. Your best days are coming, are happening, are now. Because your best days are the ones where you're most yourself. And you're becoming more yourself every day you live in truth instead of fantasy. Who you're becoming is perfect. Not perfect like flawless, but perfect like exactly who you need to be. Perfect like suited to your actual life. Perfect like authentic and real and true. Perfect like uniquely you. The person emerging from this releasing, from this accepting, from this choosing reality, they're perfect for the life that's actually unfolding. Now we move into deep affirmation. Your conscious mind is getting quieter, your subconscious is becoming more receptive, and we're going to install new programming. Let these affirmations wash over you. You don't have to actively think about them. Just let them sink in. Let them become truth in your body, your mind, your spirit. I release who I thought I'd be. That version is dissolving now, fading, becoming less real with every breath. I release them with love and gratitude, but I release them completely. They no longer have power over my present. They no longer dictate my worth. I release who I thought I'd be. I am free from old expectations. The timeline that tyrannized me, it has no power now. The milestones I was supposed to reach, they no longer measure me. The goals I was supposed to achieve, they no longer define me. I am free from old expectations. Free to be who I actually am. Free to live the life that's actually mine. I forgive myself for not following the plan. The plan was always just a guess, a hope, an imagining. It wasn't a contract. It wasn't a promise. It wasn't destiny. I forgive myself for deviating from it, for not achieving it, for letting it go. I forgive myself completely. The timeline no longer controls me. I existed before the timeline and I exist beyond it now. The timeline was a construct, a tool, a framework that became a prison. But now I'm free. Now I live in actual time, in present time, in my time. The timeline no longer controls me. I let go of should, must, and supposed to. These words have been weapons I've used against myself. Should have, must be, supposed to, they're all dissolving now. I let them go. I release their power. I free myself from their grip. I let go of should, must, and supposed to. I release judgment of my journey. My path has been my path, messy and unexpected and real. I stop judging it as wrong or insufficient or behind. My journey is valid exactly as it is. I release judgment of my journey. I accept it. I honor it. I make peace with it. The old version dissolves peacefully. Not with violence, not with shame, but with peace. The version of me I thought I'd become is fading like morning mist, like a dream upon waking. They dissolve peacefully, and I remain, real and present and here. The old version dissolves peacefully. I am not my unfulfilled plans. My identity is not built on what didn't happen. My worth is not measured by unachieved goals. I am separate from my plans. I am more than my expectations. I am not my unfulfilled plans. I am a whole person independent of them. I release the weight I've been carrying. All of it. Every expectation, every disappointment, every comparison, every should have. I feel it lifting off my shoulders, out of my chest, away from my mind. I release the weight I've been carrying. My body is lighter now. My spirit is freer now. I am free to become whoever I'm becoming. Not locked into old visions. Not bound by old declarations. Not limited by old identities. I am free to become whoever I'm becoming, and whoever that is, they're exactly right. I release the future I planned. That future was beautiful, but it's not the future that's coming. I release attachment to it. I open myself to the actual future, the one that's unfolding, the one I can't control or predict. I release the future I planned and welcome the future that's arriving. I am not behind. There is no behind. There's only here. There's only now. There's only my actual pace on my actual path. I am not behind. I am exactly where I am, and where I am is valid. I am not behind. I release comparison to others. Their paths are not my path. Their timing is not my timing. Their journeys have nothing to do with my journey. I release comparison to others. I reclaim my attention from their lives and return it to my own. I release comparison to others. I forgive myself for all the ways I've judged myself. For every harsh thought, every critical comparison, every moment of feeling insufficient. I forgive myself. I was doing the best I could. I forgive myself for all the ways I've judged myself. The version I thought I'd be, I bless them and release them. I bless the hope they represented. I release the pressure they created. I bless them and release them. They drift away now, peacefully, leaving me free to be fully myself. I am free from the tyranny of should. Should loses its power over me now. Should becomes just a word, not a command. Should has no authority over my choices, my pace, my path. I am free from the tyranny of should. I release the life I thought I'd be living. The house, the career, the relationship, the body, the achievements, all of it. I release the life I thought I'd be living and I embrace the life I am living. This life. Real life. My life. I am not defined by unmet expectations. My identity is deeper than achievement or timeline or accomplishment. I am defined by my essence, my values, my spirit. I am not defined by unmet expectations. I am defined by who I truly am. I release the past version of myself that made these plans. They didn't know what I know now. They couldn't see what I've seen. They made the best plans they could with limited information. I release them with compassion. They did their best. Now I take it from here. I am free. Simply, completely, profoundly free. Free from old expectations. Free from rigid timelines. Free from comparison. Free from the version I thought I'd be. I am free. And in this freedom, I breathe more easily. In this freedom, I live more fully. I am free. I accept where I am right now. Not where I wish I was, not where I should be, but where I actually am. This moment, this place, this point in my journey. I accept where I am right now. Completely and without reservation. This chapter has value and meaning. It's not a wasted chapter or a lost chapter or a chapter one have to get through to reach the good part. This chapter has value and meaning right now, exactly as it is. I see the value. I recognize the meaning. I am enough exactly as I am. Not when I improve more. Not when I achieve more. not when I catch up to where I should be. Right now, in this exact form, with this exact life, I am enough. I am enough exactly as I am. My life is unfolding perfectly. Not perfectly like flawlessly, but perfectly like exactly as it needs to. Every circumstance is teaching me something. Every challenge is developing something. My life is unfolding perfectly. I embrace my actual path, with its detours and dead ends and unexpected turns, with its delays and disappointments and surprises. I embrace my actual path. It's mine. It's real. It's valid. I embrace my actual path. I am exactly where I need to be. Not where others are. Not where I plan to be. But where I need to be for my growth, my learning, my becoming. I am exactly where I need to be. Right here. Right now. This version of me is worthy of love. Not someday me. Not improved me. Not achieved more me. This version, current version, actual version is worthy of love. Worthy of my own love. Worthy of others' love. This version of me is worthy of love. I see my growth even when it's invisible to others. I see how far I've come, how much I've survived, how much I've learned. I see growth that doesn't show up on a resume. I see development that doesn't photograph well. I see my growth even when it's invisible to others. I accept my pace. It's not fast by some standards. It's not slow by others. It's mine. My pace is the only pace available to me. I accept my pace. I honor my pace. I stop apologizing for my pace. I make peace with my timeline. Not the timeline I planned, but the timeline that's actually happening. I make peace with when things occurred and when they didn't. I make peace with delays and surprises. I make peace with my timeline. This moment is enough. It doesn't need to be more impressive or more accomplished or more anywhere. This moment is enough. My presence in this moment is enough. This moment is enough. I accept myself as a work in progress. Not a failed finished product, but an ongoing creation. Still developing, still discovering, still becoming. I accept myself as a work in progress, and I find beauty in the unfinished. My current life deserves my presence. Not my tolerance while I wait for better. Not my resentment that it's not different. My presence. My attention. my full engagement. My current life deserves my presence. I accept that I don't have it all figured out. And that's okay. Not having it figured out is part of being human. Uncertainty is part of growth. I accept that I don't have it all figured out. I am whole right now. Not broken and waiting to be fixed. Not incomplete and waiting to be finished. Whole. Complete as I am, even while I'm still growing. I am whole right now. I accept my actual circumstances without shame. Whatever my relationship status, whatever my career situation, whatever my financial reality, whatever my living situation, I accept my actual circumstances without shame. They don't define my worth. I honor where I've been and where I am. Every step of the journey, the forward and backward and sideways. Every version of myself that got me here. I honor where I've been and where I am. I accept myself with compassion. The way I'd accept a dear friend. With kindness for the struggles. With understanding for the mistakes. With gentleness for the imperfections. I accept myself with compassion. My worth is inherent, not earned. It doesn't increase with achievement. It doesn't decrease with failure. My worth is inherent, constant, independent of circumstances. My worth is inherent, not earned. I accept that my life looks different than I imagined. Different doesn't mean worse. Different doesn't mean wrong. Different just means different. I accept that my life looks different than I imagined. And I'm learning to love the difference. I embrace reality over fantasy. The messy truth over the clean lie. The imperfect actual over the perfect imaginary. I embrace reality over fantasy. Reality is where I actually live. I am free to become whoever I'm becoming. Not controlled by old plans. Not bound by old visions. Not limited by old declarations. I am free to become whoever I'm becoming. My future is open and beautiful. Not mapped out, but open. Not predetermined, but full of possibility. Not certain, but beautiful in its uncertainty. My future is open and beautiful. I trust the journey I'm actually on. Not the journey I planned, but the journey that's happening. I trust it. I trust the timing. I trust the detours. I trust the unfolding. I trust the journey I'm actually on. I create from authenticity, not obligation. My choices come from genuine desire, not from should. My path reflects my actual values, not inherited ones. I create from authenticity, not obligation. My life is mine to shape now, not shaped by old expectations, not shaped by others' timelines. Mine to shape from this moment forward. My life is mine to shape now. Possibilities I never imagined are available to me. Options I couldn't see because I was focused on old plans. Paths I couldn't consider because I was locked into old visions. Possibilities I never imagined are available to me now. I am becoming my true self. Layer by layer, the false self dissolves. Slowly but surely, the authentic self emerges. I am becoming my true self. The best is unfolding, not behind me. My best days aren't in the past when I still had hope for the plan. My best days are now and ahead, as I live in truth. The best is unfolding, not behind me. I am open to unexpected joy. Joy that doesn't come from planned achievements. Joy that appears in unplanned moments. Joy that arises from presence instead of accomplishment. I am open to unexpected joy. I welcome what's actually coming instead of mourning what isn't. My attention turns forward. My energy moves toward creation instead of lamentation. I welcome what's actually coming. I trust myself to navigate without a rigid map. I have inner guidance. I have adaptability. I have resilience. I trust myself to navigate without a rigid map. My future is not diminished by my past. Where I've been doesn't limit where I'm going. What didn't happen doesn't determine what can happen. My future is not diminished by my past. I am free to want what I actually want. Not what I should want. Not what would make me the right kind of person. What I actually want. I am free to want what I actually want. New dreams are forming that are actually mine. Not borrowed, not inherited, not absorbed. Dreams that come from my authentic self. New dreams are forming that are actually mine. I move forward from truth, not from fantasy. My next steps are built on reality. My future is shaped by who I actually am. I move forward from truth, not from fantasy. I am excited about who I'm becoming. Not who I plan to become, but who I'm actually becoming through real experience. I am excited about who I'm becoming. The unknown ahead is full of possibility. Not knowing isn't failure, it's openness. Uncertainty isn't lack of direction, it's freedom. The unknown ahead is full of possibility. I create a life that fits me now. Custom built for my actual preferences, my actual values, my actual self. I create a life that fits me now. I am powerful in my authenticity. More powerful than I ever was trying to be someone else. True power comes from truth. I am powerful in my authenticity. My journey is unique and valid. It doesn't need to match anyone else's. It doesn't need to follow any script. My journey is unique and valid. I trust life's intelligence. The same intelligence that grows flowers and heals wounds is unfolding my life. I trust life's intelligence. Freedom is my natural state now. Free from old expectations. Free from comparison. Free from the version I thought I'd be. Freedom is my natural state now. Let it go. Let go of who you thought you'd be. You are free now. Free from old expectations. Release the old you. The fantasy dissolves. Accept this you. This actual you. You are enough. Right now, enough. Trust your path. Your actual path. Becoming. Unfolding. Free. Let go. Let go. Let go. I am free. I let go. I accept now. I trust myself. I am enough. I am becoming. Free. Enough. Here. Now. I release. I accept. I am. Free. 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 Let it all go. Release completely. You are enough. Exactly as you are. I am free. I let go. I accept. I trust. I am enough. I am whole. I am becoming. Release. Accept. Free. Whole. Here. Now. Enough. As you sleep tonight, the releasing continues. Deep in your subconscious, old expectations fade completely. You wake as someone freer tomorrow. Your subconscious is integrating this truth while you rest. Who you thought you'd be. Gone. Who you actually are. Emerging. Sleep deeply now. Release completely. Wake renewed. It is safe to let go. Your body knows what to do with this. Your spirit understands. Sleep now. Drift now into healing rest. Free. Peaceful. Whole. The old version dissolves as you sleep. The real you rest peacefully. Tomorrow, you wake lighter. Tomorrow, you wake freer. Tonight, you release everything. Sleep deeply. Release completely. Wake renewed. Good night.